Namaste yogis, welcome into practice. It is so nice to have you here today. I'm Michael and thanks for joining. Pauline is in studio today with us. She's going to be student on the mat, which is going to help give us a little visual inspiration. And as always, it's so nice to be able to practice together in this format, whether you are joining here live in the Zoom room or if you're just catching up on this in your own time. Now, as always, in these practices, it's all about a chance for you to explore a little bit more. In these styles of practice, what I want you to do is take what you know and add on top of it. Build some layers into your understanding, and at the same time, give yourself the curiosity to see what else is there that might support you, that can help you, that you can understand today. And so in this practice, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at a little bit of pelvic movements and the ability to kind of create protraction and retraction in different actions of the body. And you'll see that as we go, and it'll make sense as the practice unfolds. But of course, if you're here today and you just want to move, I understand that. But let's move with a little bit of purpose and let's move with a little bit of intention, and that can maybe help us best suit the way that this practice can work for us all. All right, gang, if you're not already, go ahead and lie on your back, please, in constructed rest pose. On the back, knees bent, feet on the floor. And just put yourself into the shape that allows as much of the lower back to get down onto the floor as possible. And so in the simple instance, maybe that means you want your feet a little bit wider and your knees closer together. Maybe it's this idea of slightly lifting your bum and scooting your tailbone away. So you're just trying to get yourself down towards the floor. What is really nice about this action or this intention is not only are you putting the body into rest, you're putting the back and the spine into its own state of ease. A lot of us tend to carry a lot of load in the lower back, or we feel like we do. And so even when we move into a reclined position, we can still hold and carry that, and we can let the spine arch. So today I want you to get as much of you on the floor, rested and settled. And then with that, add a little bit of breath. So take a nice full breath in today and a long breath out. Let's simply start by unrolling the body a little bit. So reach your hands over your head. So a little bit of space. And at the same time now, can you bring your feet back underneath your knees and separate them so they're grounded on top of the ankles? And then bring your hands back to your hips. And then with your inhale, just do a few rolling bridge poses. So come up and down. Inhale, everything comes up. And then exhale, everything comes down. And as you do that and keep carrying on with these actions today, what I want you to feel is every time your hips come off the floor, rather than doing the default where you stick your tailbone out and your ribs pop out the front, can you see if you can get your tailbone a little longer? So almost as you lift your hips up off the floor, you're lengthening your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. So it has this feeling of a long back body as opposed to an open front body. And it's subtle, and it's a felt experience, but when we start to think about the intentionality of how we're moving, it gives us the best support or the consideration for the work that we're focusing on today. Do one more time, come on up. Hips, lengthen your tailbone towards the back of the knees, and then exhale, bring it back down to the floor. Good. Draw your knees straight up to your chest. And take a moment to hug the knees in. So you have this feeling of squeezing it in. And then I want you to notice, and this will require you to use almost like the eyes turning inside, and bring your awareness to the back of your sacrum. Now, for the sake of visual, imagine this was your sacrum. It's not actually this shape, but I have a block in front of me. It's the triangle bone at the back of the pelvis. And I want you to almost feel like you're tracing the line of the pelvis, or tracing the line of the sacrum. So almost as if you're squeezing your knees in and you're rolling along the top edge of the sacrum, rolling along the outer triangle line of the sacrum bone, back up the other line, and you're essentially just creating that ability to move the pelvis around with a grounding feeling of the sacrum underneath you. Notice how that is and notice how that feels. And the reason we're doing this delicate movement, is because it switches your awareness to be able to subtly move the part of the pelvis that requires your consideration. You might call it a little bit of a nuance articulation of the tailbone, or very simply the ability to navigate your way through space in a very intuitive but refined way. And what you might find as you continue to trace the line of the sacrum bone, and make sure you go both directions, so make sure you switch the direction, go the other way, is it becomes a little bit supportive and therapeutic, as well as intentional and articulate. And after you've done about 3, 4, or 5 on each side, and you go 3, 4, or 5 the other way, then you just bring back a central squeeze so the knees come back to the chest, flex your toes, and then reach your toes towards the ceiling. And as you do that, can you start by just pointing and flexing the toes a few times? And just notice how that changes the impact load down the legs towards the pelvis. Lengthen, what engages and what releases. Flex, what engages and what releases. And as you point the toes up, leave them up, and then reach your hands up towards your toes, and then lift your head and shoulders so everything curls up so the whole back body gets long. Notice how much effort it requires you to lift and lengthen. At the same time, keep reaching the feet up and the toes and the fingers. Take a big breath in, and then draw your knees to your chest, release down to the floor. Good, one more time. Inhale, everything goes up. Hands go up, toes go up. Stay here as you breathe, and then just reach your hands past your feet out towards the front wall or the window of the room you're in. Take a big inhale in, and then just lower your left leg 90 degrees so it's hovering just off the floor. Pause. On your next inhale, everything comes up, hands come up, and then exhale, just your hands lower, just your hands lower. Good. Inhale, lift, no hand. And then exhale, lower the other leg 90 degrees. I'm putting a sequence pattern together, I should explain. Good. Inhale, everything comes up. Exhale, just the hands first, just the hands. So that's going to lift the back of the cervical spine. Inhale is the breath. Just the right foot. Lower, 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 just the right foot, or left foot, excuse me. Inhale, everything comes up. Hands too. Exhale, just the hands. Last part of this, inhale, lift the back of the neck and the spine. Exhale, lower the other foot. Final part, inhale, everything goes up, feet and hands, knees to chest, release. And so what we're starting to notice is the ability to navigate where we are in space. When we start to move the arms and the legs, which then require the core to switch on and the pelvis to compensate, it starts to give us some more insight about where we can move, where we can navigate, and where we can articulate. Let's do that one more time. I know it's miserable, but it's helpful for what we're doing today. Inhale, toes go up, hands go up, head comes up. Exhale, just the hands. Inhale, lengthen, lower one foot. Stretch, good, engage. Inhale, everything comes up, hands go up, back of the neck comes up, just the hands. Slow it down. Inhale, legs go higher, higher, higher. Exhale, other foot. So we've got 3 rounds of this. Inhale, hands and feet go high, back of the neck lifts. Just the hands, just the hands, just the hands. Lift the shoulders and the head as you come up. Breathe all the way in. Exhale, one foot hovers, but reach it away as you lower it. Inhale, back up, hands come up. Exhale, just the hands. Everything stays lifted. Breathe all the way in. Control it. Exhale, lower, 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 pause. Last round. Inhale, everything comes up, feet and fingers. Exhale, just the hands, just the hands. Stay high, stay high. Breathe all the way in. Exhale, one foot. We are almost there. When I say we, I mean you. Inhale, everything comes up. Exhale, just the hands. Last part, breathe all the way in. Final leg comes down. Everything has to come all the way back up, please. Knees to chest. Good. Now rock yourself forward and back. What I want you to do is straight away rock yourself over and come to a cow pose. And you'll start to stretch and open that front body. Take a full breath in, and then downward facing dog. And so, of course, you've spent that whole part of that sequence fully in flexion, fully in core engagement. So now as we start to open the front body, we want to start to notice how that feels. Inhale to a plank pose, please. And then keep your toes tucked, but drop your hips like it's an upward facing dog so you can feel that opening, broaden out the collarbones and widen. And then go straight back to downward facing dog. Good, one more time. Inhale through plank. Exhale, lower the hips. And then inhale, broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Walk your feet to your hands, 1, 2, 3. Good. Nice heavy head, heavy spine, heavy arms. And let yourself dangle a little bit side to side. Okay, here's what I want to do is a little bit of spinal articulation. Now at the base of your spine, your lower lumbar, I want you to unroll yourself to standing in the order of the spine. So low back, mid back, upper back, neck, head. Good, unroll, unroll, unroll. Reach your hands all the way up, lift your heels. Now I want you to unroll in the opposite direction. So hands, head, neck, upper thoracic, middle thoracic, lower lumbar. Good, and come all the way back down. Do that again, half that speed. Inhale, knees are soft, lower lumbar, middle thoracic, upper thoracic, cervical spine, chin drops, head is long. Inhale, reach the hands. And then exhale, soften, hands, head, chin, cervical, thoracic, lumbar. Good. Now I want you to change the direction of this. Do it one more time. Unroll all the way standing. Breathe all the way in. And in this time, as you come down, hands up. I want you to start from the bottom. So bend your knees. Turn the spine. Good. The spine will feel like it's going through cow pose to come down. Good. Now here's where it gets a little bit funky. I want you to reverse the other way. I want you to come up head first. So it's head, cervical, thoracic, lumbar. So it almost feels like a halfway lift as you rise up. And then go straight down, forehead, chin. So it becomes a flexion based. Good. So it's kind of like you on the dance floor at midnight at your friend's wedding or at the disco. Come on up one more time, a little bit faster. Inhale, head, shoulders, heart, lower spine, pelvis. Good. Head, come on down. Spine. So it's kind of like, you know that thing where you do like the worm on the dance floor? It's that kind of feeling. Good. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Come on up. And so we live here now for a moment and you start to feel how that is in static position. Now first things first with the pelvis, turn it right back. So lordosis of the spine, really let the tailbone go out and back and up. So it's almost like sticking the bum out the back. Good, now go the opposite way where you turn the pelvis down, lengthen it, so it almost feels like you're taking your tailbone down towards your heels. Now people ask, which one is the better version of chair pose? They're just different. I like to split the difference and put it in what is closest to what feels natural but controlled. And at the same time, what I'd like you to do is take your fold halfway to the floor. So your chair pose feels like it's at a longer diagonal. Good, arms are still by the biceps. Or biceps or by the ears. Good, bend your knees a bit more. Take your spine closer towards the floor. So forward, fold it. Good, pause, not too far. Good, now sink into the heels, drop the seat. Now give me a little bit of a cobra in the spine. Good, reach the biceps past the ears and open up the shoulders a little bit more so you have this lift sensation. Beautiful, take a big breath in, forward fold. Unroll yourself to standing in the way that suits the spine, probably lower, middle, upper, hands sweep up high to the sky, full Urdhva Hastasana. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Tailbone goes down. Now take the half chair so you have a long spine line, still light little bit cobra in the front body. Point the spine long, send the tailbone back, bend your knees. Put your hips about the same height as your knees or right? Hips the same height as your knees. So bring your hips down, hips down, hips down, hips down, hips down. Good, now really reach the spine forward. Good, now what you want to feel is the tailbone reaches back, the fingertips and the crown reaches forward. Take a big breath in, forward fold, exhale. Good, take a halfway lift of your choice, hands float, step back plank pose. Now the reason this is so miserable is because you're asking for detail, downward facing dog. Detail of being able to move when the body starts to put into effort and or fatigue. Inhale through plank pose, just like we did before. Toes stay tucked. Lower the hips without touching the floor. Modified cobra pose or up dog, so everything is off the floor, broaden through the collarbones. Downward facing dog, bend your knees, send the tailbone long. Beautiful. Now let's work with some similar principles. Unroll the spine from the tailbone to the back of the neck to plank. So it's a waving roll of the spine. Good. Now, pause here, bend your knees so they almost touch the floor. Turn the tailbone so you have this full lordosis. Now, literally as if there was a tail here, draw everything back to downward facing dog from the tailbone going back, 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 up and up. Good. Now, can you smooth that out? Unroll your spine forward like a wave. Lower your knees, turn the tailbone so you have this interior tilt and draw it straight back and push through the arms. Keep going. So now literally make this a full wheel movement. So no stopping in plank and no stopping in dog. But make the breath long so it's still slow. Inhale, you roll. Just make sure you roll from the bottom. Bend the knees, slide it back. Get that chest lower to the ground. A few more times. Inhale, good. Bend your knees, pull from the tailbone. Drop the heart. One more time. Inhale, roll. Slow it down, bend the knees, turn the tailbone, drop the heart, lift it back. Beautiful. Pause here in down dog. And just notice the difference. For some of us, it'll be easy to put these patterns into the body. For some others, it will feel like you're literally kind of speaking a different language. It's just unfamiliar. And what we want to do with spinal articulation practices is be able to control our choices even if they are a little bit different. Being able to choose how we want to move with it. Okay, come back to plank, breathe in. Lower your hips like we're gonna move to upward facing dog with the toes tucked. Inhale, now broaden across the collarbones. Now, just like that down dog, knees are almost to the floor, bend the knees, tilt the tailbone, slide back, 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 back. Good, big breath in. Long breath out, bend your knees, look to your hands, jump top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Bow forward as you exhale. Chair pose, Utkatasana, breathe in. Good, so do our new chair today where we're going lower. Hips are lower, 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 lower. Good, now take the spine lower, but lengthen the heart forward and widen the collarbones. As you do that, steady here, take a big breath in, long breath out. Now all I'd like you to do is place your hands towards the floor, stay as low as possible, step your left foot back to a lunge. Stay as low as possible, step back to a lunge. Good, knee stays off the floor. Now reach your arms by your biceps one more time. So essentially we're taking these principles of this chair pose and putting it into the lunge. So we're in a long lunge, still cobra-like in the shape. Good, let's make this lunge a little bit longer. Step this foot back. So I really want you to go long so we have this feeling that literally if I was to cut off this back leg, this still feels like chair. So I need you to move more into the front foot. More into the front foot. Good. Big breath in. Long breath out. Look to your hands, warrior 3. Stand and rise. Good. Now roll that left hip down. We're not here forever. Take a big breath in. Bend your right knee so much so that your hands can come back to the floor. Step long to a lunge. Inhale, hands to the sky. Soften your knee. Beautiful. Hands to the floor. Plank. Downward facing dog. So it's a very non-traditional way we're looking at a sun salutation, and it's a way where it's going to fight the urge of everything you want to do to stay with this spinal intention or this spinal action. Big breath in, long breath out, bend your knees, jump top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and then bow. Chair pose, Utkatasana, breathe in. Straight away, we're not here for long, but long enough to let the hips go down, the heart to go forward. Feel a cobra-like shape in the spine, so you almost feel as if you're literally pulling spine end to end. Big breath in, hands down towards the floor, stay low, keep the shape, step your left or your right foot back. Now again, we need to keep this long line, biceps hover up towards the ears, please. And as you do that, I want you to really feel as everything is pulling you forward. So really get this back ball of the foot up over the ball of the foot. Good, really feel this spine drawing you forward. Anchor that left thigh down. Pull the spine up and away from it. Good, eyes towards your thumbs or your fingertips. Move your way forward, stand up through warrior 3. Whoop. Take a big breath in. Bend your left knee, hands to the floor, come back to the lunge. Keep that back leg up off the floor. Inhale, crescent, hands float up. Just in the long crescent like we did in the first side. Big inhale in, hands to the floor, plank, downward facing dog. Big inhale in, long exhale out. And this is how I want you to wash it through. So do those waving like plank dogs. So inhale, wave the spine forward, bend the knee, drag the tailbone back. Again, inhale, so anytime, so think about this almost as like our version of chaturanga today. Inhale, wave the spine forward, wash the spine back. One more time, so inhale, it's like a tumble dryer. Inhale goes forward or a washing machine. Exhale, crank it back. Good, walk yourself to the top of the mat. Inhale, take a halfway lift, spine goes long, and then bow forward. Okay, come back to the chair pose because that's our blueprint for the practice today. And again, the chair that we're working with today is a low chair where the hips are about the knee height. I know, that's why when people come into the studio to visit, to hang out, and then they say, I'll do class with you, that's when we ramp it up because that means I don't have to do it. It means you guys are doing the great work. Paulina's here doing the great work. Okay, we're going towards an eagle pose, but I don't care about the arms. What I care about here is we stay low in the chair, bring the right knee to your chest, wrap the leg over for eagle pose, put everything else back out into this low chair that we've been working with. Hands wherever that helps you. Here's a helpful place that kind of helps keep the legs afloat. So here's what it looks like. When you wrap the legs, put your hands on your hips up here, and then push. And as you do that, it'll create a protraction in the back body, but also give you a little buoyancy. Good, take a big breath in. Uncross this right leg, step it back to lunge. Good, long diagonal lunge. Good, stay in that long diagonal lunge. And then straight away stand up, right knee to your chest. Inhale. Pause. Big breath in. Straighten that front right leg, whichever it goes. Now it doesn't matter how high, what it matters is it's flexed and pressing. Big inhale in, graze the floor, warrior three, take it back. Step back, diagonal lunge, bend the left knee to step. Good. Big inhale in, hands down, downward facing dog. So the trick here is as you step back, I need you to step and engage with that standing leg. Wash the spine through, put it back in the washing machine. Inhale, crank it back, exhale. Good, twice more. Inhale, roll it forward, roll it back. Good. Inhale, roll it forward. Exhale, roll it back. And when you're ready, walk, step, or jump top of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Remember, what I want you to be able to do in this practice, if nothing more, is control the articulated movements of your spine. And one of the things that my teacher taught me is that one of the ways to know is if you can or have that control is you have to put the body in effort. And effort sometimes means fatigue. It means, can I do this with free will and choice when the easiest option is to not? Chair pose of the legs. Whatever you want to do with your hands, stack them on the thighs, stack them at your heart. Eagle pose. So when we start to shift in a moment, everything is working through this standing leg. Good, big breath in, unwrap it to warrior three. The right leg is doing the work. The right leg is doing the work. Feel up dog in the chest. Stand up, left knee to the chest. Hands go to the sky. Straighten that left leg long. Big breath in, warrior three. Graze the floor as you send it back. Pause here for a moment, and before you step back to lunge, it's the standing leg that bends to take you low, 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 low. Stay in the diagonal lunge. Good, take a big breath in, hands to the floor, step back, plank, dog, wash it through 2 or 3 times. And starting to notice how this feels and works for you. And I'll show you something really interesting and maybe cool, depending if you think this kind of stuff is cool, is next time you come back to downward facing dog, as your hips go back, drop your knees down to tabletop and do some cat-cows. Maybe see if there's a little bit more awareness or understanding of how the spine moves today. Because yes, cat-cow is shoulders and hips turning the wheels to create that movement, but it's actually about that spinal, what we call spinal undulation down the body. the ability to work through the vertebrae to turn the spine open and close. Beautiful. Everything moves in the way that helps. All right, let's restabilize because it'll feel nice for you. Tuck your toes, tabletop, float the tabletop, and stabilize and steady. Shoulders stacked over the wrists, please. Protraction and long tailbone. You see how here Paulina moved her tailbone down? So that said, fill up the back body by lengthening out spine end to end. Good, take a big breath in, please. Downward facing dog. Big inhale in. Long exhale out. Big breath in. Long exhale out. Come through plank pose, please. Lower yourself to all the way to the floor. Good. Now pause and prep for cobra pose, but before you do that, what I want you to do is I want you to draw the shoulder blades together, lift your elbows and slide your hands back almost to the point where the heels of your hands are starting to lift up off the floor. So probably about here for most of you, kind of where your hips are. Now I want you to draw your shoulder blades together and hover your hands a millimeter off the floor. Okay, keep your head down for the moment. Draw your shoulder blades together, hover your hands a millimeter off the floor. Now, from the middle of your back, lift up, lift the crown of your head, feel cobra, pause for a moment, settle. Keep squeezing in here and engage, lengthen the crown of your head forward, settle. Then lift the tops of your feet, reach them back to the back wall and settle. Take a big breath in and just tuck your toes, settle. Now, toes and hands go down, press straight up to plank. Breathe in, downward facing dog. Now, what I want you to notice is, depending on how your practice is, you might feel strong today, or this might feel a million miles away, and you can modify to knees down, is oftentimes when we press to plank, if the body's not engaged, we tend to do it from our shoulders, our lower back, and we forget the pelvis. So this is what we're going to try to do, is we're going to try to fill it up this time. Okay, come back to plank. I'll show you how this works. Lower to the floor. Set up that same situation. Shoulder blades draw together, hands fly up off the floor, toes untucked first, lift and lengthen back. So now essentially what's on the floor is the pelvis, knees are off the floor, feet are off the floor. Good, and on this block, you don't need a block, but I'm going to show you a visual. I'm putting it here on the lower back. So essentially what I want you to think and feel like is when you press to plank in a moment, I want you to press the block to the ceiling. Good, take a big breath in. Tuck the toes, everything goes down, push up, block up, block up. Good. And as the block lifts up, what's likely happening is the pelvis is moving down. Good, downward facing dog. We're gonna do that one more time because repetition is a helpful tool for our understanding. Inhale, come on back. Oops, sorry. All the way to the floor. Set and prep. Hands, shoulder blades. So this time, I want you to think about, as this lower back fills to push you up, we're essentially moving the tailbone that way. We're getting it long. And so I'm going to move it right on the sacrum, so it means that there's an awareness of the action. Everything lifts off the ground first for our first cobra activation. Take a full breath in, feet are up. Toes are tucked. Exhale, push and lift. Rise, protract. Keep the block if you have it. If you've been playing with it, downward facing dog, take it back. Good. So if you do have a block and you would like to play through this next part, put the block up here on the back of your sacrum. If you don't have a block and you're at home, you can use a shoe. What else can you use? A tissue box. Essentially anything that's heavy enough to stay, but not so heavy that if it boinks you in the head, it's going to hurt. So if you want to play with it, I would like something here that's giving you what's called proprioceptive awareness of your tailbone. Does that make sense? Yes? If you can't get it into place, the easier way to set up is come to tabletop. Is you set up here, and Paulina will do her own. She'll put it here from the back in tabletop. That's kind of how you can kind of, let's say, get the cowboy on the horse. Do you know? And again, you need to control that action here. This is fun. Let's see. Inhale, plank. Big breath in. So remember, we've been doing those up dog versions with the toes tucked. So now lower the hips, and they're not going to go as far because of the block. Now think, broaden the collarbone. Take it back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Good. Now, do you remember how we've been doing the washing machine of the chest? It should still be able to stay if you control your movement. So nice and slow, figure it out. Inhale, wash it forward. You can't blame your yoga pants. You got this. Send it back. Whoop. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, roll it forward. Notice how the pelvis needs to micro adjust as you move. And you might have to go a little bit lower, a little bit higher, round forward. Good. Now, drop your knees down, tabletop. Keep the block here. Cow pose. Breathe in. See how that feels a little bit more stable for the block? Cat pose. I need you to do more spine, less tailbone. Good. Inhale, cow pose. Breathing in. Downward facing dog. Send it back. Sometimes the best tools in your practice are things that can help remind you of where your attention needs to be. Inhale through plank. Keep the toes tucked, lower the hips. Cobra the chest. Downward facing dog. Good. Last time, inhale plank. Lower to the floor. All the way to the floor, all the way to the floor. So set up for the cobra variation that we were doing earlier. Shoulder blades draw together, hands slide back, lift your hands, lift your feet, lift your knees, pause. Everything hugs the midline. Take a big breath in, tuck your toes on you, exhale, hands down, toes down, push, downward facing dog. Good. Well done. You can take the block off or kind of wiggle it off the bum, and now you're back. Big breath in, please. Long breath out, lift your right leg, step to crescent lunge, but at a long diagonal lunge. So arms by your biceps out the front window. Good, now at the same time, I want to start by rising this to crescent lunge, not yet, but from the pelvis. So start like this, bend your left knee, turn your pelvis, and then unroll your spine, like how we did at the beginning when we did that standing up. So if you remember that thing at the beginning, we stood up like this. That's what I want you to do to rise into these lunges. Good, so back left knee is bent, tailbone is down, ribs in, protraction, fill that back body. Arms are reaching. Take a big breath in, long breath out. Reach everything forward, straighten the back, left leg, steady the pelvis, warrior three, come on up. Big breath in, standing splits, hands down, left heel to the sky. Soften your right knee. Take a lift in your spine like it's a halfway lift. Bend your right knee even more. Put your hands to the mat. Walk, step, or float back. High to low plank. If you're jumping, land on the right leg. Keep the left leg off the floor. Good. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Long breath out. Left leg rises. Step to a long diagonal lunge. So we're building this backwards. So longer lunge, longer. So take this right leg back further. So you have this length in the body, and I need you to build it from the bottom up. So strong feet, bend your right knee. Take your tailbone long, get your pelvis underneath you, and really exaggerate that spine rolling upward, so that wave rolling. Good, arms by your ears. Big breath in. Take it back to the diagonal lunge. Stay low in that left knee. Rise, warrior three. Inhale, everything comes up. Standing splits. Bend your left knee, halfway lift. Walk, step, or float back, high to low plank. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Washing machine, roll the spine forward, breathe in. Take it back. With flow, right leg to the sky, please. Step forward, long diagonal lunge. Don't come all the way up, just come up to the lunge. Now, bend your right knee, move your tailbone, unroll your spine. Exhale, take it back, diagonal lunge, straighten the left leg, warrior three, rise. Standing splits. Soften the right knee, inhale, lengthen your spine, jump back. High to low plank, float it through. Commit to it, inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Washing machine the spine forward. Inhale, unroll it. Bend the knees, roll it back. So this time, second side, left leg. Long diagonal lunge. And I really want you to unroll that spine in a really articulate way. Good, start by bending your right knee. Stay long. Take the tailbone underneath you. Now roll up the spine. Good. Hands go up. Long diagonal lunge. Straighten the back right leg. Warrior 3. Send it out. Standing splits. Inhale halfway. Jump it back. High to low plank. Everything goes back behind you. Cobra or upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Washing machine. Roll that spine through 3 times. Breathe in. Bend the knee. Breathe out. Keep going. And that's the thing, as with continuous movement, focused effort, spinal undulation, it becomes a practice that actually requires you to work a little bit or a lot. When you get back to downward facing dog, steady your dog. Bend your knees, send your tailbone long. Big inhale in, long exhale out. Okay, draw your pinky fingers in so you don't step on them, bend your knees, jump malasana. Good. Now, malasana is really interesting because in similarities, it has a similar blueprint to chair pose. You have the choice to let the tailbone go down, back, and out. So just take a moment to let that feeling go. So the tailbone goes down, back, and out. So it's almost the other way. So it's almost like sticking your bum out the back. So you have this essentially long back line. That oftentimes helps draw the collarbones open, feel width in the chest. But now at the same time, can you send the tailbone long down the back? So it's almost like feeling like the tailbone is razoring down the back line, and that's gonna end up rolling the shoulders and protracting them forward. At the same time, keep this roll in the body today and reach your hands forward to the front edge of the mat, down onto the floor, but now really over-exaggerate this rolling of the upper spine and this rolling or lengthening of the back body. Beautiful. Do you feel that? Now, all I want you to do is keep that shape in the spine, but turn your palms to face up and take them wider so it broadens your collarbones. Now, lift the head ever so slightly so there's width. So now the protraction starts to release itself into a little bit of neutral or towards protraction, but we still have this imprint of that kind of flexion in the spine. Good. Take a big breath in. Long breath out, and then lift yourself up 20 or 30%. Good. Now, what's happened straight away is the tailbone scoots straight out the back because A, we tell ourselves we need to counterbalance, but we also do it because it's easier. That's the give and take. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to start by lifting your heels. As you lift your heels, now get your tailbone down. Take your fingertips back towards the floor. If you need blocks under your hands, you do so, just like you had when you were a little bit lower. Roll the spine forward, right? So you really round the spine. Round the spine, reach your arms a little bit longer. Heels are high, tailbone is long. Beautiful. Take this full breath in. Bend your elbows, slide your hands back so your palms are on the floor. Push your hands down, lift your hips, heels down, forward fold. And just notice what we're doing is actually setting and prepping a different entrance or variation for a crow pose. Widen your feet, turn your toes out, come back to Malasana, please. Build it in a shape where the pelvis is moving down and away, the spine is moving up and over, right? And so you have this ability to really turn the pelvis down, which inevitably helps to open up the inner thighs deep into the groin. Now, lift the seat 20 or 30%, lift your heels. Now, at the same time, hug your knees towards your elbows. Good. Now, put the palms on the floor. Lift your heels, keep the tailbone down, keep the protraction rounding, hug your elbows, hug your knees towards your elbows. Good, now rock the weight a little bit forward, lift your pelvis without taking your pelvis back. So if you look at me, I don't want my pelvis to go back, I still want it to go down, but I'm still gonna lift it. Good, that's the shape we're feeling. Take a big breath in, come back to Malasana, rest for a second. All right, so all of this prep action starts to put the spine in position for support. Now all I'd like you to do is set yourself up for a crow position, but don't lose the work we're doing. I want you to take your feet and I'd like you to walk them a little bit closer together. And rather than having them parallel today, which how we often do crow pose, I want them a little bit wider and turned out still. So call that 20 or 30% turned out, so a narrow crow. Now same rules apply. Lift your heels, let the pelvis go down the back, get your hands on the floor. Your knees might be on the back of the triceps or they still might be on the outside, but lift the hips, shift the weight into the hands. Good, lift the heels. Good, protract upper spine, lift your hips high. Pause here, lift your right heel, tap your right bum. Squeeze, pause there. Now before you put it down, flex your right toes and try touch your wrist. Put it back up to the bum and then put it down. Stay in the high carriage. Okay, lift your left heel, squeeze it up to the bum, point the toes to the back wall, flex the toes, touch your wrist, take it back up to the bum, point the toes, put it back down, pause, rest for a second. Do you get the game now? It's just a constant game of finding that edge of effort, but still having the ability to be in charge of your choices. Okay, come on back up, crow prep. Strong hands, hips are lifted. Protraction of the spine, tailbone still moving down. Good, heels are nice and high. Right heel to right bum, squeeze, pause, strong hands. Flex the toes, toes to go to the wrist, pause. Take it back up to the bum, put it back on the floor. Push, 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 lift the left heel. Squeeze, flex, touch the wrist. Take it back up, point the toe, put it back down, straight to crow pose. Come on up, lift your heels. Try not to reset or rest, just literally bring it up for a second, breathe it here, put it back down, rest. So that's the cycle that we're gonna do. We're gonna do right leg squeeze, wrist squeeze down, left foot squeezed, wrist squeeze down, crow pose, release. You up for it? Let's do it twice more. All right, heels up, protract round, pelvis long, fingers spread, hips high. All right, right heel goes up, point the toe back. Flex the toe, touch the wrist. Inhale, point the toe, squeeze it high. Put the ball of the foot back down. Stay pushing through the hands. Left heel goes up, point it back. Flex it, touch the wrist. Take it back up. Put the ball of your foot down. Go straight forward, crow pose. Try not to reset. Literally get yourself settled for it. Inhale, the breath goes up. Exhale, put it straight back down and rest. This last time, what I want you to try do is as you do those wrist taps, and then as you put your hands back down, come straight back up. So keep that strength and protraction on the whole time through. Here we go, last round. Hands down, hips up. Heels lifted. Heel squeezes, right heel goes up, point the toe. Flex, touch the wrist. Inhale, take it back, put it down. Don't forget to breathe. Remember, your inhale, you're going straight up after this. Flex and touch. You got this. I know how hard it is. I can see Paulina shaking. I can see you shaking from here. Let's go. Put it down, crow pose. Come on up. Breathe in. Work with me here. Low plank. Shoot the legs back. Shoo. Meet me in downward facing dog. You got it. Breathe through it. It's funny, the one thing I learned about teaching classes online, which took me a long time to realize, is because we all have a lot going on in our lives, because life gets busy, life gets distracting, the practice needs to be challenging enough to distract you to stay, if that makes sense. It needs to be strong enough, a lot of times, to say, we need to be here in order to be here. Yeah, if you want to wash the spine through a few times, do that. And then put yourself down to tabletop. Set yourself back onto your heels. And then just do this a few times. Roll your shoulders back. And then just add your spine. So you just have this ability to kind of work through the spine. If this feels too restrictive here on the floor, you can also do it standing up, totally fine. But I feel like probably after the work, you'd be doing a few moments on the floor to kind of not only release the shoulders, but to make sure the spine has that space. Can be quite nice. Okay, do this for me. Split your knees, come to child's pose. But come to child's pose on your fingertips so you have a protraction in the upper back. Good. And then all I'd like you to do here is grab the outside edges of the mat with your hands. And you can either have your forehead down or slightly lifted, but put a few cat-cows in the body here. So you feel that inhale and exhale, so the spinal work has this undulation. Obviously, don't try to rub your forehead on the rubber. Give enough space to do that. But it can be quite nice as with heavy hips, right, to feel that movement of the spine going forward. This is where the pelvis is turning front to back, where it's moving from posterior to anterior tilt. And it can feel nice to not only release the spine, but to refocus the awareness on the spine. Big breath in, long breath out. And do this a few more times in a way that feels nice for you. And then slide yourself forward onto your belly. Not quite down, but we're almost there. So now that we've worked a lot through this practice, when we work through pelvis and lower back, inevitably it means we're working back bending at the same time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work up towards a bow pose. So the variation I'd like you to work with today is a shalabhasana with hands interlaced behind your back. If you feel like you need a cobra or two or some variation of kind of spinal movement before you get back there, totally fine. I'm a big believer is you have to listen to what you need. Most of you have been practicing long enough where you have an innate understanding of this feels good, this doesn't, and if I could do this right now, it would feel nice for me. And if that's the case, follow that feeling. Okay, interlace your hands behind your back, please. Before you come off the floor, let's do a few things. Press the tops of the feet into the floor and make sure your legs are only hip-width distance apart. As your hands are interlaced behind you, doesn't matter if your palms are connected or not, but we bend the elbows and we draw the shoulder blades together and we make sure the hands aren't touching the back. Good. From this action, elbows still stay bent. Elbows still stay bent. And now I want you to lengthen the tailbone back. So think about lengthening your tailbone back towards the heels. What that's going to do, it's going to pull the front ribs down and create a little bit of space in your front throat area. As you do that, I want your head to come off 1 millimeter, just so it's off the mat, and maybe lift to 1 centimeter, and then take the crown of your head forward, and then lift your feet 1 millimeter and then 1 centimeter. So you're really low flying here. Now at the same time, tailbone is down, tailbone is down, tailbone is long. So literally you're hooking your tailbone to the backs of your heels. As you do this, take a big breath in. Don't forget the bend in the elbows. Exhale, stay. Internally wrap the legs so there's space in the lower back. Internally wrap the legs, in. And then exhale, release to the floor. Hands relax. Big breath in. Long breath out. Okay. You can work with that same variation if you enjoyed that, but we'll do a second variation. Arms go forward. Reach out so the shalabhasana is longer. So we're only working in centimeters right now, not feet. Okay, start by lengthening the tailbone. So when you lengthen tailbone, you'll feel your ribs draw down. You'll feel this space form in the top of the chest or the front of the chest and the throat. That's what we're looking for. And here's what we're going to look for here. Come onto the pinky fingers so the palms are facing inward. And then literally tailbone is down, ribs are in. Anchor off your forehead first and lift the center of your collarbone. So it's almost like you're putting a little dome in the front part of your body. Good. Now 1 centimeter off the floor with your forehead, 1 centimeter with your feet. And then almost feel like, even though you're in a back bend, it's almost like you're doing like a dish shape. You're doing a full protraction. So you're fighting that back bend with this kind of thoracic protraction, this long cervical extension. Everything is lifted and settled. And then you exhale. I promise we're getting to the back bend and we're almost there. Last one. Okay, hands, forehead, feet, 1 centimeter. Put the protraction in the top, get the tailbone long. So now we're decompressing lower back. Take a big breath in, long exhale. Now lift everything up to a back bend. Now don't throw away the lower back. Even though it will start to move back into anterior tilt, you still need to feel that there's lengthening away. Good, lift a little bit higher front to back, widen through the collarbones. Take a big breath in, release. And what I really am trying to do today is push you into the place where you have to do less on purpose. Otherwise, you can't do those counter-opposing actions. All right, last variation of this, bend your knees, reach back and catch your feet. It's all right. There it is. Keep the forehead on the floor to start. Feet straight, grab the tops of the feet, not the ankles. Okay, draw your shoulder blades together, bend your elbows. So now you're already engaged in the back body. Now I want you to think thighs. So I'm going to say tops of the thighs, as in the tops towards the knees. That's the top for today. And I want collarbone wide, right? And I want 1 millimeter on the head and 1 millimeter at the top of the thighs. Good. Bend your elbows so you're not living here like a coat rack. Now, crown of the head reaches, thighs lift and reach. Everything expands away. Switch on the back body here. Bend your elbows here. Good. Switch on the back body here. Bend the elbows here, which means now you really have to lift from the collarbones and the thighs. Take a big breath in and then exhale, release. Hands make a pillow. Lower back has a little bit of space. And oftentimes when I'm releasing lower back, if someone's in a back bend, I'm doing a little bit of a side to side rocking action, which is that little kind of twist can feel nice. And the same way, I'm gonna lengthen the tailbone away. Right? Lengthening the tailbone away. And all that can do is helping to decrease lower lumbar. All right, let's do that last cobra variation that we did, or earlier cobra variation. Hands by your side, slide the heels of the hands back. Feet come back into where they were. Narrow the feet a little bit, please. Okay, float the hands, float the feet, draw the shoulder blades together. Good. So we are going to push to plank in just a moment. So lift the feet, draw everything in, move the tailbone down, take a big breath in, flex the toes as you exhale, push the hands, inhale, come on up, downward facing dog. Wash the spine through 3 times, please. Breathe in and breathe out. And really notice, even though the body is now physically used, the strength is diminishing, the awareness and the ability to work with spine and pelvis becomes fascinatingly more articulate. Walk yourself to the top of the mat next time you're there. And then unroll yourself very gently up to standing in a way the spine feels literally like it's stacking up on itself. 1, 2, 3, all the way to standing. Inhale, hands go up. Fold forward. Halfway lift, please. Fold. Chair pose, Utkatasana, not a long one, but lift your heels straight away and take your hips back down to your heels. So a really nice little low chair. Good, all the way down to the backs of your heels, almost like you're sitting on it. It's not easier, but it is a little bit more stable. Take a big breath in, and then put your bum down, roll onto your back. Knees to chest. Good, hug your knees in. And come back to where we started and just trace the line of the sacrum. See how that feels. See if you can notice anything more or be aware of anything more. All this practice is really doing is giving us consideration. You can practice in a number of different ways. There's loads of different ways you can practice, and I'm a big fan of all of them. This practice is literally just about focusing on one thing. Before you finish and find rest, I want you to take a bridge pose, please. I want your feet to go down and roll the bridge open, hips up, hands up. Breathe everything in. And everything comes out. And I want you to do it in a way where it almost feels like it's putting you back together. Do you need length in the tailbone, space in the chest, width? Or do you need softness, quietness, less? And all what we're doing is just using a posture like this to return to center, to bring us back into symmetry, to reground us into a space where the body feels recentered. And as you come down, let the knees touch and let the feet widen for a constructed rest pose. And I tend to say for a lot of you, this might be a great way to do your final closing place of Shavasana, because what you're doing is you're connecting the lower back to the floor. You're putting space in the back body sacrum. But of course, after a few breaths, if you want to slide the legs long, you're welcome to go to Shavasana. You might realize the lower back feels a little bit. And so maybe we want to put blocks under the knees. If you're not sure what means, it means like it could feel a little delicate because we've been putting effort there. Not in a compressed way or a painful way, hopefully, but in a way that is almost like you've spent time there. And so whether you're here on the knees, up, or you want to slide your legs out. You use this as a place to rest, to let the whole practice come full circle. And as always with these practices, it's ultimately about what is it that can help us and support us. Wherever we are in the practice of yoga, how can this little moment where we hold a little magnifying glass over the practice at a certain place, we can then use it to understand more about the practice as a whole or parts of ourselves in practice. And that can be such a cool thing to do every time you come into the mat. Take a big breath in and a long breath out. In the closing moments of this practice, what I tend to find when I do a practice like this is I find after I come to Shavasana, I still need a little bit of a closing pose. And a closing pose could literally just be knees to chest, or it could be rolling over to one side, or could you be just returning back to constructed rest. So if you do feel like this is too big for a closing pose and you want to change the shape, do that. Remember, you make the rules of your practice. Everything else is just hopeful insights for consideration. Remember, as I always say, yoga is a game of choices. You make the choices of what works for you in your practice. Knowing that, yes, there's an element of honoring the practice, but also there's a more importance to honoring yourself within it. And even if it's just a physical shift, that alone can help make this practice really, really valuable on a day like today. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. If you want to close practice with us today, you can just start to find your way out, draw your knees in or to the side. And you'll just, when you're ready, just kindly and calmly pull yourself up to a final seat for closing. And you'll give yourself the space to resettle with your hands anywhere that works for you today. And we close the practice very simply with a sense of appreciation for the movement, for the focus, and what comes from it. Close the practice very simply with one breath and one Om. Take a full inhale in, please. And an exhale. And if you'd like, breathe all the way in. Om. We honor the space of the practice for all that it is. And if you'd like, together we say, Namaste. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing. Thank you for Paulina for being here to do the practice with us and give you some energy along the way. Thank you for joining. As always, these practices are here to help and support you wherever you are along the journey of yoga. We'll see you soon.